Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, to this week's, well, every other week, I should say, installment of the DADS, not always on wrestling. And yes, not always applies this week because we are not talking about wrestling if we can help it. It always weaves its way in somehow because it is a wrestling channel, and it is what it is, as we say. I am, of course, the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham. Joining me to my left is the Renegade himself, JJ Williams, and today is once again Todd's Theory. I guess October, because it's October, is just weirdo month here on the Jeff Meacham Network as far as dads goes, because I'm leading off a non-wrestling discussion show. So there you go. It's just one of those things where everything is batshit crazy. So there you go. We are, if you didn't read the description, and again, I encourage you guys to read because reading is important. And, I encourage you guys to read everything that you can in this world, provided it's actually relevant information.
Reading is fundamental.
Reading is fundamental, but if you're going to like Dave Meltzer, maybe not so much. We are talking about our top 10 now. And when I say our, I mean OUR. Our picks for the top 10 horror movies of all time. Now, we will get into some shenanigans on this show, no question about it, as we do. And everything you see is subjective entertainment. If you disagree with our list, feel free to leave a comment and say, hey, I disagree with this because I feel this is better, or this is out of place, or whatever the case may be. Very good. So, keep it short and sweet. Mr. Williams, take it away, sir.
All right. I feel like this show might be one of our more controversial.
No question.
Because everybody is going to be having their very own top 10 lists. Everybody likes different types of horror movies.
Yep.
Some people like slashers. Some people like psychological. Some people like monsters or vampires or zombies. So everybody's list is going to be different on this one.
Without question.
Hopefully, my list is one that the viewing audience can approve of, at least for the most part.
Right.
Number 10. I'm going to start with, and I want to say, let me see here. Yes. It is the most recent, mind-blowing because the year is 1998, but the most recent film on my list.
Okay.
So 1998, that basically means I haven't seen a horror movie worthy of contention since 1998.
So we're talking 22 years since anything's been worth a damn in your eyes. Good to know. Yeah.
At least worth a damn to be top 10 level.
Got it.
There's always honorable mentions.
Of course.
My number 10 is Urban Legend.
Okay. I would have 20 to H2O when he's 98, but there you go.
Urban Legend, I feel, is very underrated. They take a lot of the urban legends. Oh, wonder where they got the title there. That you hear growing up as a kid, and they turned them into pretty cool kills for a horror movie.
Yes.
Stellar cast, including someone very near and dear to our hearts, Joshua Jackson, Charlie Conway. And probably one of the funniest scenes in the movie when he's out in the forest about to, try and get some. And I Don't Want to Wait, the theme from Dawson's Creek comes on. And he turns the station off real quick, talks about how much he can't stand that song.
Fucking brilliant.
Tara Reid. Rebecca Gayheart. Great cast. Very underrated in my opinion. So it takes a number 10 spot from me.
Side note,
yes.
To this day, Rebecca Gayheart's death on 90210 is the most gut-wrenching fucking thing I've ever seen on Fox. Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
I would agree with you, except Jack McKay.
No, honestly, and granted, Luke Perry's reactions to both are stellar, but like you didn't know about Jack, right? Like you didn't know until the car exploded. You knew what Dylan was gonna discover in that car, and you still, it just wrecks everything.
I'll give you that, but what makes Jack McKay's harder is the fact that Dylan had time with Rebecca Gayhart's character.
With Tony, right, yeah.
He was just starting to get time back with his dad after him being out of the picture for so many years. They were just starting to have that father-son connection,
right?
Just to get it ripped away again,
right? Yeah, I mean, I told, what's the actor's name? Help me out here. From Days.
I can never remember his name. He will always be Jack McKay to me.
Josh something.
I know Josh something.
Yeah, it's Josh. I told Josh at Day of Days when we all went back in 2000. I'm not gonna say it because it's too far long ago. I'm like, to this day, man, your Death Now 2.0 just obliterates the shit out of me. He goes, honestly, dude, me too. Like, I hated that so much because there's so much more meat in that bone. I'm like, I know. And they brought you back as that. He's like, yeah, that was stupid. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. Now you know why our shows have been going over an hour.
I'm sorry.
Number 9 on my list from 1990, the original It.
Yes.
The Tim Curry version.
Yes.
You know, for some reason to me, I always go back to Tim Curry. Not that Skarsgård did a bad job. Because he was creepy and phenomenal as Pennywise.
Yes.
But he was creepy and phenomenal in an R-rated theatrical motion picture.
Right.
Curry was creepy in a PG made-for-TV movie.
Yeah.
Made it just a little bit scarier, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I have nothing against the remake. It was one of the better remakes that I have seen.
Great.
But I feel like the remake encountered the same problems I have with the original. The first part with the kids, amazing. Yep. The second part with the adults, not so much.
Yeah.
They've already conquered and vanquished this asshole 27, 30 years ago, whichever version you go off of. Why are you still so fucking scared of it? You've defeated it. You own it.
Yep.
I don't buy you getting scared anymore.
Yeah.
I buy it as kids. It's the unknown. It's new. It's fresh.
Yep.
I don't buy it as adults, as 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I'd rather, if I have to watch 40-year-olds, I'd rather watch John Ritter and Harry Anderson as opposed to Bill Hader.
And let's forget Olivia Hussey.
Yeah.
My buddy.
I still think it was a fuck up on casting's part not bringing Seth Green back to play grown-up Richie Tozier in the remake since he was young Richie in the original.
Thank you.
That's just me. Number 8. The oldest movie on my list. From 1925. The original Phantom of the Opera.
I knew to be on there at some point.
Lon Chaney Sr.
Bitches.
Silent movie. Back when the Phantom was creepy and scary and not some hot dude in a half mask. I'm sorry. I just can't get into the Andrew Lloyd Webber retellings musical of Phantom. Just can't. Sorry. Not sorry.
I know you're not sorry. I know.
But I know there's people out there that are like, oh, Andrew Lloyd Webber's versions are masterpieces of entertainment. Fuck that. Give me Chaney.
The views you do always represent the views of the Championship Network or the participants therein. So keep that in mind.
Somehow I doubt that on this one.
Dude, You'd be surprised how many people that watch my show love Andrew Lloyd Webber stuff. Honest to God. So, anyway.
Number 7, another classic. Not silent,
but golden.
But another classic monster movie from 1931, Frankenstein.
Yes.
Boris Karloff as the monster.
Oh.
Back in the day when they didn't even put his name in the opening credits as to who was playing it, it was a question mark.
Yes.
Which later became iconic for the Riddler, so you know. What goes around comes around. But Frankenstein, to this day, I state Frankenstein is the movie to start anybody on who's interested in horror movies. Because it's more psychological than bloody. It's a tremendous story.
Yep.
And it's so much tamer by today's slasher standards. So much so that a 3-year-old was introduced to this, and it became his movie du jour for at least a good week, where he wanted to watch it every freaking day.
Yeah, that one didn't mind you showing the 3-year-old.
Other people showed him
not so
other
much.
stuff.
Huh?
Other people showed him other stuff.
Yeah, I know.
I showed him the classics.
I know exactly who showed him what.
Speaking of another classic, this one's a little bit more modern than 1931, but in my opinion, it jump-started the horror movie genre once again, while at the same time killing it for me.
Ooh.
1996's Scream.
Really?
Yep,
Killing
and
it
I'm
for
going
you.
to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Scream unquestionably jump-started the genre once again. I mean, horror movies had been in de facto sequel status for years.
Yep.
It took Wes Craven and Scream to revitalize and rejuvenate the genre.
Mm-hmm.
The way it killed it for me was one character, one scene.
Uh-oh.
Randy telling the rules of a horror movie. Keep in mind, 1996, okay, I was 20 years old. I missed this in theaters. I was exposed to the first 2 Screams on VHS, courtesy of Bruce. When he stands up at the party and gives away the rules of the horror movies, I have never been able to watch a horror movie the same way ever since. You want to talk about the ultimate spoiler alerts?
Right.
He tells you what not to do in a movie if you want to live. So then, if you're a novice in the genre and you haven't seen all the Halloweens, the Jasons, the Freddys, the Chuckies, the Leatherfaces, the Pinheads, now whenever you go to watch them, the minute you see someone run up the stairs instead of out the open door, you're dead. The minute you see someone smoking a cigarette or rolling up a joint, you're dead. Having premarital sex, you're dead.
Yeah, very much.
There's none of those people survive.
Oop.
And Randy gave that all away in the first movie.
Yeah, he did.
And then the second movie, the rules of a sequel, the rules of a trilogy. So in one fell swoop, it rejuvenated, and in my head, killed the genre.
Yeah. Wow.
Number 5. Try to liven it back up a little bit here.
There you
A movie that is near and dear to both of our hearts. From 1978, the original Halloween. I don't know what can be said about Halloween that's not been said in the past. At a time when horror movies were just starting to make a comeback,
Right.
because you had had The Exorcist in '73, you had had Rosemary's Baby, and I believe The Omen just before Halloween.
Pretty sure Omen was 76. Yeah.
And then Halloween just came, kicked the door down for all the psychopathic murderers that would follow. Michael Myers was the blueprint for Jason, Freddy, and all the others, with the exception of, I think, Leatherface. I believe Texas Chainsaw Massacre was early 70s, but it
75.
didn't have a sequel until the 80s, I believe.
Yeah, I think the first one was
After
74.
Michael
So.
had really kicked the door down.
Right.
Jamie Lee Curtis, the original Scream Queen. Number 4 is the first one to appear on my list that is a sequel.
Ooh.
Yes. And I honestly prefer the sequel to the original.
Okay.
Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter from 1984.
Number 4. Interesting. Okay.
Forgive me for blanking on the character's name. I want to say it was Tommy.
Tommy Jarvis. Yep.
Played by Corey Feldman in part 4.
Yes, sir.
His story and his relationship with Jason, almost said Michael. His relationship with Jason, and that story arc, I thought was gold.
Yep.
And in a lot of people's mind, one being my horror connoisseur Bible. I guess if you want to go to a horror Bible in a person, it's Bruce.
Oh, sure. For sure.
Part 4 is the end of Friday the 13th as far as he's concerned. Anything that came after it is hot garbage.
Right. He gives a little bit of credit to 6, but not much.
Yeah. But see, you weren't in the theater with him for Jason X.
Oh, my God. I can't even process how bad that was. Oh, my God.
You don't know how hard it was to convince him to continue sitting there and finish that god-awful movie. It was so bad.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Freddy versus Jason, I feel made up for Jason X a little
bit,
but not a whole lot.
No.
Number 3 on my list is another sequel. Ironically, it's the third in the franchise from 1987, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors.
Ooh, okay.
Again, something about this movie, not to say that part 1 is bad, because part 1 is phenomenal.
Yes, for sure.
In my opinion, you can get rid of part 2, Freddy's Revenge, and go straight to this. This is the direct sequel, because Nancy is back, her father is back. For God's sakes, you get Lawrence fucking Fishburne in this movie. But I think what really seals the deal is you get the real, true, deep backstory of where Freddy comes from.
Yep.
You get the story of Amanda Kruger and how she was locked in the hospital over the weekend and she was raped by all the inmates there.
1,000 maniacs.
Giving birth to Fred Krueger. And it's Amanda who's trying to help guide them throughout their journey here. And the storytelling in this one, I just feel, is so, so great.
Yep.
It's my favorite Nightmare by and far.
Wow. Okay.
It's Alex Vincent, also known as Andy Barkley, especially when I'm with my friend to the end and yours, Chucky himself. I hear that you guys are very big fans. You're doing a top 10 horror films countdown. Since you asked me to be involved, I assume that means Chucky made it to the list. Thank you guys for being really big fans. I hear that you put on a show, I guess maybe it's a YouTube show, Dad's Not Always on Wrestling. That's awesome. Good luck with it. I hope it's going well. Chucky's a big wrestling fan, or he just likes to wrestle with me when we're alone. And it's late at night. And I drank too much. Anyways, certainly wish you guys all the best. Good luck on your show. Thank you for being big Chucky fans. Chucky really appreciates it. I really appreciate it. It's the reason we get to keep making these things. Hopefully a TV series coming soon, right, Chucky? Thank you guys very much for your support, for being fans, and I wish you all the very best. Stay safe. Chucky, send your best wishes. Thank you guys.
Number 2 should be no surprise to anybody who knows me. Child's Play. 1988, the original. The killer doll who comes to life via voodoo. Ade Due Dembala. Give me the power, I beg of you.
Yes.
Brad Dourif as Charles Lee Ray and Chucky. Young Alex Vincent as Andy.
Oh.
You know, a boy whose dolls come to life.
Named Andy.
I feel like I will see this again in 7 years.
Can you imagine? Okay. Let's not go there. We're going to
Why do you think they used that for the promotions for Toy Story 4?
And for Child's Play,
the time that the reboot for Chucky was coming out.
Yep. The freaking Chucky poster is a direct parody of the Toy Story 4 poster. They did it on purpose. And the funny is, I didn't notice it because I went and posed with the freaking cardboard cutout of, the Chucky doll thing, whatever. And then I turn around and wait a minute. Anyway, I digress. Yep. I digress because we're getting late in the weeds again here. So
no, we're okay. We're okay. I'm watching the time. So if Child's Play is number 2,
yes,
there can only be one for me.
Okay.
From 1941.
Aha.
Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright.
Oh.
The Wolfman. You just cannot do better for me than realistic effects when it comes to these monster movies. Karloff and Frankenstein. Karloff in The Mummy. Chaney Sr. in Phantom. Chaney Sr. in Hunchback. Honorable mention. Chaney Jr. in The Wolfman. You feel their emotion because it's makeup, not computer-generated imagery. It is a man with makeup, and you can see his pain, his emotion, his range. When Chaney's Talbot is caught in the bear trap, you can see the anguish on his face because it's makeup, it's realistic effects. Technology has jumped from leaps and bounds since then. I'm not going to knock technology, but you can't get that same range of emotion from a computer-generated actor.
Nope.
You just can't. That's why so many now wear those blue suits with the balls all over them so that they can still act their roles and then be digitized into their suits and everything. Yep. Like Josh Brolin as Thanos.
Yes.
Chaney's Wolfman will forever be my number 1 horror movie of all time.
And I lived with this man when Benicio's Wolfman came out, and had him come home to us ready to spit fire and crap thunder because they fucked with his movie so much. So I get the feels. I get it. Like,
I felt like Eminem about to release a diss track.
oh, for real. And you were justified, because no disrespect to Benicio del Toro at all. Tremendous actor. Do not fuck with our monsters. Just don't do it. All right. It's ironic you said what you said about my number 10, because I actually feel the same way. Scream is my number 10. And I didn't see Scream until much later than you did, because I didn't get into the horror movies as much later than you did. My first horror movie that I watched actively and stuck with watching them afterwards was H2O on the original DVD release, and that was with my ex, Dylan's mom, when we were first courting, so like 05, 06. I didn't see Scream till much later than that. But you're right. Jamie Kennedy's character dialogue was like I can't watch anything on this list now without going, yep. However, I still love the movie. It kicks ass. I love Ghostface. I have a Ghostface costume on reserve in case I can't get into my other costumes because, well, Fat Man got to eat. But I love the character. I love the actors, the characters in the movies, especially my boy David Arquette, who kind of gets overlooked because of Courtney and Nev. But David Arquette's character, especially in the first one, really is the anchor, I feel personally. And
completely agree. And you mentioned underrated in that movie. Matthew Lillard was fucking underrated in that movie.
Dude, when you get the reveal that he's in cahoots with Billy, it's like, motherfucker, what? The reveal in that one, I feel, is by and large better than the other two, without question.
Especially if you only know Matthew Lillard from movies in recent years.
Scooby-Doo and shit.
Shaggy from Scooby-Doo and shit.
Right.
You go back and you watch the first Scream and you realize he's one of the killers. You're mind fucked.
Seriously, okay, I forget.
And he would have got away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling kids.
Right? Exactly.
Damn it.
Where's my off button? No. Oh, jeez. It's true though. So yeah, but Scream is one of those things where I can safely say, without fail, because it's on the damn documentaries about the movie. Without Scream, there is no H2O.
Yep.
And without H2O, I dare say Halloween's dead in the water.
Yeah.
At that point. Because Curse was almost direct to video. And H2O, in its whatever incarnation it was prior to Jamie Lee going, okay, wait, fucking hold on a minute, would have been a direct to video release. So without Scream, I don't sit here with a Danielle Harris t-shirt on and a Michael Myers, coverall sitting here 10 feet from me. So there you go.
Scream, jumping off the top rope, breaking his leg.
Exactly. It's all. And see, what's funny is that'd be a great kill for Michael, like to throw somebody off a balcony and have just his leg break and break off out of the skin. That's a hell of a kill right there. Anyway, it's fucking Sid, poor bastard. Number 9. On Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, the original. Okay, full disclosure, the first 2 horror movies I ever saw, period, were Child's Play 3 and Freddy's Dead. So, being introduced to Freddy and that gooftastic piece of shit 1991 movie, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, I did not know what to expect with the first one. And I'm not going to lie, I slept with the light on for a couple days when I first saw it, because it's powerful. And it crawls up into your soul and pretty much rapes your soul. It really does. It's powerful shit. And if for no other reason than the death of Johnny Depp making my ex just cringe with horror and chaos in her soul, it works too.
Pre-21 Jump Street Johnny Depp.
Yes. Yeah. Johnny
Let's
Depp's
throw that
debut
out there.
on film.
Pre-21 Jump Street Johnny Depp, okay?
Yeah.
People that say they're Johnny Depp fans and that they started being Johnny Depp fans with Pirates or with Edward Scissorhands or even with 21 Jump Street, if you weren't a fan of his when he was doing this...
Yep.
No.
And I dare say his death in the first movie is the most epic of the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's gory as a motherfucker, but it's you know.
It's just like the people that jumped onto Leo's bandwagon with Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And had missed the growth from Growing Pains, ironically enough, to
What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Yep.
And the Basketball Diaries.
Yep.
Before he became that heartthrob icon.
Yep.
In Romeo and Juliet, to Titanic, to...
Yeah. By the way, hang on a second. Soapbox for a second. The fact that he just got his first Oscar in the last 5 years is fucking bullshit. Okay, moving right along. Throwing it out there. Academy, looking at you. Number 8 is one I'm surprised wasn't on your list, but you had a lot of the movies of that era on your list, so I can see why this didn't get put on there. The Bride of Frankenstein. I actually prefer Bride over the original. I don't know why, but I do. Like, I love Boris's turn in this. I love Elsa in this. She's barely in it, right? But she's such a powerful performance at the very end.
And that is why it didn't make my list, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know, the story is great. Elsa Lanchester in the dual role of the bride and Mary Shelley in the prologue.
Yep.
Just showing how gorgeous she really was.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's barely in it as the bride is
and
why
it's called Bride. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And
who went on to play Katie Nana in Mary Poppins.
I was gonna say I've had several mindfucks involving you or your family over the years, and I'll two of them right now. The fact that I found out that Katie Nana was the Bride of Frankenstein, watching Bride with you, I went, wait, what? But I got even better for you.
Boom was the Scrooge that me and my dad prefer.
I was talking about that one, but although
I'm just saying, both of them are in the same freaking movie together.
Right. Well, no. There's another one Disney related that also ties back to something else I enjoy, and I'll tell you in just a second. Once I what the fuck I'll do now. I just found out, not this last visit with them, but the prior visit but before we went into quarantine, that the voiceover, the narrator, the audiobook reader on the Harry Potter series is Dr. Terminus from Pete's Dragon.
Not a Pete's Dragon fan, so no.
Natalie told me that, and I went, no effing way. And Teresa goes, listen to them singing Every Little Piece. I went, okay. So they're going through, and they put. I hear Jim Dale saying, I went, holy shit. I hate everybody. Anyway, number 7 is one of 2 Alfred Hitchcock entries on my list. The Birds. Now, I will preface this by saying that prior to seeing this movie, I wasn't a big bird guy anyway. Didn't like birds out in the wild. Like a bird in my cage, taking care of my little cockatiels at home, fine. Don't like crows. Don't like pigeons. Don't like any of those things, man. I had to watch this because it was in a film as lit class I took in school. I could not go near occupied power lines for like 3 weeks. I couldn't fucking hack it. And then every once in a while when you go out and especially here in LA because you never see it, but when you get those gatherings of birds that just keep circling, those dark birds keep circling in the air. We pull up somewhere. Okay, Jessica, get out of the car. Nope. Staying right here. Nope. Hitchcock is a fucking genius, and Tippi Hedren, God bless her, man. She did this so well. It's just so creepy in this. Phenomenal. Honorable mention with Hitchcock, by the way, Vertigo. Jesus Christ, that messed with me. Oh my God. Number 5 is one that I discovered long into my adult life watching the movie itself, but I'd seen the lead character every time I went out to a local theme park. Jaws. Jaws, again, I am not a swimmer. I don't know how to swim. And Jaws just rent space in my brain because that's a big man-eating predator coming after me in a boat. I'm good. I'm beyond good. Just, nope. Don't. No Machinga Sharkle. Nope. Fuck that. No way. And Roy Schneider's character, especially in the first one, his descent into madness over this thing just is grossly understated. If you only know Roy Schneider for Sequest, you're watching the wrong damn bit of media. I'm throwing that out there right now. Go back and watch Jaws. Epic stuff. Spielberg at his best, early on even. So, number 4 is my other Hitchcock entry. It is the reason we have my number 1. It's the reason we have pretty much the movies I've been watching since late last month. Psycho. To this day, every once in a while, I'll get in the shower and I'll close that curtain and I'll just have a moment. I don't know why. Again, it's weird. It's irrational, but it just, Psycho is Hitchcock's masterpiece. It really is. And he really just gets into your brain. And it's just, it is a complete mental, it's a mind fuck. It totally 100% is. And he didn't even really do anything graphic or gory. It's understated. It's not really there. But you think it's there. You think you see it. You think you see what's happening, but you don't.
It's psychological.
The most graphic thing in the whole movie is Norma's skeleton. Really. That's the creepiest part. Not the stabbing in the shower. So, number 3 is graphic exponentially. Number 3 is graphic on steroids, and I've only watched this movie once, and I will never watch it again. I don't care how much of a pussy it makes me. I don't care. The Exorcist. I can't do this fucking movie, Jay. I can't. It's wrong. It is not okay that happened to me in my life, or that it happened to anybody. That just no. And I can't even bring myself to describe it because I'll have to go do what Linda Blair did in the movie in the toilet for real. It's just the movie makes me sick. It legitimately, I'm getting nauseous now. It makes me violently ill to think about the things I saw in this movie. That's how scary it is. That's how creepy it is. That's how much it completely wrecked my existence the first time I saw it. And the only time I'll see it. There you go. Just not going to do it. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. All right. Number 2 is another one that almost hit the same category because it involves a little boy and a guy who I respect ridiculously as an actor, and a author who produced your one on your list as a TV movie that you showed my 3-year-old son, or his mother showed my 3-year-old son. Stephen King's The Shining. You combine Stephen King and Stanley Kubrick and Jack Nicholson as the villain, and you have a situation where you're going to get your shit fucked with on film. There's no question about it. You're going to have the willies for a good minute. It's Jack. I think Jack really is crazy, for the record. I think Jack Nicholson is certifiably fucking insane. I don't even hesitate when I say that. So much so that even watching him be freaking baked off his gourd and having Robin Williams do his acceptance speech at the whatever the hell award show that was, you can see he's crazy there because he tells Robin, "Do your thing, boo," and he's still trying to jump in. He's nuts. Jack Nicholson is nuts, and him in this movie is everything. He makes it work. And Shelley Duvall, who, again, if you know Shelley Duvall only from Popeye, you're missing out. And if you only know Shelley Duvall from later stuff, go back and watch The Shining. It is beautiful, and it's scary. It's great. Number 1 is a movie that I didn't see the first one first. I saw one of the later ones actually first, but I've since gone back and watched the saga, I believe 384 times since then, the entire saga over the course of the last 2 years.
That's just during quarantine.
This is during quarantine, right? Exactly. I think I've watched the whole saga once a day for the last 6 months, which is impossible because you can't film on 24-hour a day. But that's some Scott Steiner math, by the way. Halloween. I mean, goddamn, this movie's so good. Halloween is amazing, and Halloween is the reason I got into slasher flicks more than I did watching, because I did see Freddy early on. I love Chucky, and I love that little doll, and I love Brad Dourif. I love Brad Dourif's inclusion in the Rob Zombie Halloweens as a hero, which is like hearing that voice come out of a sheriff's mouth. It's like, what? But Halloween, John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, Jamie Lee Curtis, Nick Castle, everybody else involved. It is the greatest, definitely the greatest slasher flick of all time. I firmly believe that. Horror movies, again, subjective. It's my favorite. I even like 3, and people shit on 3 because it's not Michael Myers or whatever, but I enjoy the first one the best because it is the first. And I am thoroughly grateful to Blumhouse and Jamie Lee and everybody else involved that they've retconned everything but the first one in this new trilogy we're seeing unfold in the next 2 years, because the idea of the shape, simply stalking to stalk, simply killing to kill, is what makes Halloween what it is. Now, I did say on a couple shows ago that Halloween 2 is one of my favorite sequels. It is a great sequel to a classic movie, but the underplot of Michael and Jamie being siblings wrecks the fucking franchise. It really does. It completely torpedoes it, because then if you want to continue the Michael story like they felt they had to do in 88 with 4, well, Jamie Lee doesn't want to come back. So we create her daughter, which, granted, Danielle Harris in our lives, never a bad thing. But they had to keep building off that, and I feel that moment, that decision to make them family, is what makes all these stupid reboots and whatever necessary. But if you watch 78 and then go to 18, and then next year when we get kills, and then when we get, you're good. Because Halloween in and of itself, I feel, is a masterpiece. And that's why it's my number 1. Because a guy who, for more or less, can't stand horror movies. I don't like being scared. I don't. I hate being scared. I hate the dark. I don't like the dark when I'm trying to sleep, because sleep, you gotta sleep. But if I'm somewhere that I don't want to be dark and I don't feel the need to be in the shadows, I get creeped out. And the fact that I like these slasher movies, which I'm still watching, and tonight's Seed of Chucky, and I want you to say a prayer for me, Jay. God help me. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I enjoy this movie so much. I really do. And I feel it's definitely worth inclusion on any horror movie genre list. And yeah, so I appreciate being included. Well, that's all, folks, as we say here on the Jeff Meacham Network, or if you're Mel Blanc, you said on the Warner Brothers. So, but we appreciate everybody tuning in today. It is much appreciated. Don't forget, in 2 weeks, we'll be back right here on the Jeff Meacham Network for our wrestling topic, where we will cover our top 10 matches. And we haven't decided if we're going to do 2 lists or 1. We'll get there when we get there. But we're talking about the Survivor Series, because it is November after all. So, and then in 4 weeks, oh yes, in 4 weeks, we are going to make sure Disney shuts us down, because we are going to have the top 10 Walt Disney animated movies, complete with a very special opening. So stay tuned for that in 4 weeks. Ooh. So he is the Renegade. I am the West Coast Professor. We are the Dads, and we will see you guys next time. If I can get the damn graphic up, which I didn't have ready. Shit. Ah!